What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Professor Anime. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, guys, I'm here to bring you all my review of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4, Episode 15. So let's get this started. So with this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, we pretty much get to the conclusion of the manga artist arc, or, I mean, I don't really know the correct arc that we are in. I don't know the correct name, but we nonetheless end up finishing the manga artist arc with Rohan. Now, Rohan is a very interesting character to me. You know, just like seeing him from these past few episodes, I've grown to like him, honestly. He's a pretty funny guy, especially that weird scene that we got in last week's episode with him and the spider. Like, that shit was crazy, but his personality is what, like, he has a very crazy personality, but I love it. I love it, and his stand is actually very interesting compared to what we are usually, seeing from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because from what we usually see in this series is that the stands are more physical than sort of like defensive, Now, when it comes to Rohan, his stand is OP as hell, but he cannot attack in any way. His stand is literally his manuscript, and if people can actually see, once they see his stand on how, like, it works and everything, like, he then has the ability to control them and bend their body to his will and make them a living manuscript entirely. Like, it's kind of cool, and he uses his manuscript to his advantage by actually taking pages out from their body, or nonetheless their memories, which ends up making them lose their weight. But the more pages that he ends up taking out, the more memories that they lose, I guess you would say. So basically, by ripping out all of these memories from their body, he can technically find out everything that his opponent has basically gone through in their life, their experiences, their memories, and even find out their weaknesses, which ends up helping him, defeat his opponents in the long run without even laying a finger on them. So yeah, when it comes to Rohan, I really do like his stand. His stand is very unique, it's OP, but at the same time, it's not, because he can't really do anything to other stand users. He can only use his stand in order to figure out what the other stand's information is. But once he ends up gathering information on that, you're pretty much done, And we see that in this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where we see Koichi has no way out, Okuyasu ends up getting stuck in the middle of things, and Josuke almost gets stuck in the middle of all of it as well. But Rohan ended up doing one thing that you don't do to Josuke. You don't do that to Josuke. Rohan read Josuke's file on finding out Josuke's weakness, and we find out that apparently Rohan ends up declaring that Josuke's hair is stupid. It's done. It's something that you would see from 20 or 30 years ago. It's not in the now. So Rohan did in fact end up getting Josuke's attention, but by getting his attention, he enraged Josuke to the point where Josuke didn't even care about the manuscript. All of his eyes were locked onto was Rohan, and he beat the living shit out of Rohan, dude. Like, oh my god. But Rohan, this dude is legendary. This dude is legendary, because while he admits that he has been defeated, and while he's like bruised and all bloodied up, there's a freaking dresser on top of him, he's lying down on the ground, still drawing. Like, mad respect. Probably the most dedicated manga artist I have ever seen. And of course, at the end of this episode, we get to see a little backstory that ended up going about when Josuke was young at the time. And this is a supposed backstory because, keep in mind, this is being narrated by Koichi. So, I mean, we can't really take, the whole sort of story into consideration because this is technically just going off of guesses from Koichi. But apparently what ended up going about in this backstory that we see from Josuke is that apparently he was ill. It was winter and he was in the car ill. His mother was trying to drive him to the hospital in order to get cured and treated. And they end up getting stuck in the middle of the snow. And then that is until a man who resembles a lot like Josuke ends up appearing out of pretty much the middle of nowhere where their car is and ends up helping them push the car, and then that way the mother can take Josuke to the hospital. Now, when it comes to who this person could possibly be, I'm not quite sure. I mean, the guy resembles Josuke, an older Josuke. So it's like almost like he ended up, appearing in the past. Older Josuke ends up appearing in the past. So it's like his future self is in the past. Now, as far as who this could be, I don't really know. I thought it might have been maybe his father. Because of the fact that, usually you have a father who looks semi-identical to the main protagonist actually show up in a backstory or even in the beginning of a series. However, the thing about that is that technically, I believe Jotaro is actually the father of Josuke. So that is out of the question. So as far as who this person could be, we don't know. Unless, if maybe the person that was there at that given time when Josuke was ill and his mother was trying to rush him to the hospital, maybe that person was actually a stand user, and maybe this person had the ability to see into the future of what another person could look like, 10 years from now. So I don't know, maybe, and maybe the stand user can actually take the representation of what they would look like as they're older. He's kind of like a shapeshifter, so I wouldn't actually doubt that if that was the case. I really do not know who this person could be or if it is a stand user. I'm just going off with guesses at the moment, but I'm pretty sure you manga readers know exactly what is going on with that. And then, of course, we also get to see the new opening to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4. The opening was pretty cool. I like the song, and the animation is always good as ever. However, I definitely would have to say that the first opening that we got of Part 4 definitely tops this opening, but that's just my personal opinion. So yeah, definitely this was an entertaining episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Probably one of the best episodes that I have seen of this series so far, because just, I'm really liking where we are going with the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure right now, because, in the beginning of the series, it was very slow, but technically with, the past JoJo's Bizarre Adventure series, they have been very slow at the start of the series, but then they gradually end up getting more and more riled up as the episodes go on, and that's what I'm liking with this series. We're actually starting to see more, crazy shit go down, I mean, this episode proves that, and the last episode introduced a pretty cool villain as well. I mean, if you can even classify Rohan as a villain or whatever. But yeah, definitely it seems like we are getting to the good stuff, when it comes to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The more bizarre and craziness of the series that I know this series for, and I'm loving that. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen in next week's episode, what sort of villain we might get introduced to, and, just what's going to go down for the group in general. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below on what you guys thought about this episode. I thought it was very entertaining, very good moments in the episode, and, you know, it was hilarious, to say the least. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and of course, if you like this video, don't forget to drop a like. It always helps out the channel, and if you want to stick up to date to my future content on this channel, please hit that red subscribe button below, and you will never miss a video from me. That about does it for this video, guys, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.